Hello, I'm Shirley Garrier, retired Colonel, of the Army Reserves, and I'm pleased to talk with you today. We are going to have two women veterans, speaking about their experiences in the military in recognition of Military Women's Appreciation Day on June 12th. So I'd like to introduce you to our first guest, Annie Nelson. Annie, if you could introduce yourself, and then I'll ask you some questions.
Hi, Shirley. I'm a retired Lieutenant Colonel, Army National Guard.
So, Annie, what's your best memory of service?
I think my best memory is probably as a first lieutenant, I was in charge of putting together the logistics for a convoy. The National Guard, I was in the New Jersey National Guard, and we had to do our annual training up in Fort Drum, New York. And that was a real challenge and exciting, and I remember it to this day. It was just really nice.
Thank you. I'll share mine as well.
Yeah.
So I think maybe I may have been at Fort Drum many times. I missed you in passing, I think. But I was in New England and in a medical unit, and we, a group of us, worked towards the Expert Field Medical Badge. And this was a rigorous training. It brought us together, maybe about 20 of us, professionally and also personally. This was such an experience just to get to know other officers and enlisted, and also to get up to speed what we needed for our medical expertise. I was a captain at the time, and very rewarding, and I remember it, and I have friends from it today.
Yes.
So no doubt we did cross paths somewhere along Fort Drum.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what's your favorite item or memento or piece of gear that you may still have or that you have fondness for?
I thought about that, and in the National Guard, I actually went and started working at the National Guard Bureau at the Pentagon in I think it was 1985. So somewhere in the late 80s or early 90s, I started working with the Public Affairs Office there, and we used to take people to other countries, Honduras. We went to East Berlin when the wall came down, things like that, to show people what the Guard were doing around the world. And I picked up a piece of the wall, and I still have it. I absolutely love it. And my other favorite memory is my pictures with my other fellow Guards people at training. So those are my two mementos that I actually held on to. Yeah.
Very special. Yeah.
Yes. What about you, Shirley?
Well, mine is a little mundane next to yours. Mine is my poncho. I have kept it. It just brings back a lot of memories of being out in the field.
Yes.
Good and bad, I guess. Bad weather, using a poncho to sit on for training, and I use it to this very day. We have a lot of hurricanes here, so I was out there last year with the poncho on, and when I wear it, it has the smells of the military, and just lots of memories.
That's a critical piece of equipment. I wish I had remembered to keep mine. That's a good point.
Yeah. Well, they kind of rot. They do dry rot, so you have to be careful. Yeah. So, along with the memories, are you still in contact with any of your former service members, or
Yes. I have a real good friend. She's now in Alabama, married with grandkids. I have another friend that's in Arizona, so we keep in touch via Facebook. And then I have a group of friends up in Northern Virginia that we try to get together every Veterans Day. They're at the National Harbor. So yes, I do keep in touch with my National Guard cohorts, if you will. We had a good time in service. We all remember, the good and the bad. And we all also recognize that we couldn't have done without each other's support. These people showed up when my parents was deceased. They all showed up at the funeral. You know, when I had to go to training, they helped me with my family. So absolutely, yeah. After all these years, we still keep in touch. What about you, Shirley?
The same. I actually joined the Army Reserves because of a friend. We were working together at a hospital in the cardiac rehab unit. And one day she asked me if I wanted to do something different. And I said, yeah, sure. And we joined the Army Reserves. And I stayed in for 23 years. She left after 6. But we have remained friends since that time. And we do have fond memories of the military, even though she got out earlier to raise her family. And it's because of her that I had that career, and it's so special.
Yeah.
So she's particularly special. And then there are actually some male friends that I had along the way that we keep in touch with. They were supportive, or we worked together in many ways. So again, all very important, and really being part of that military experience, that to share that is special in itself. And to continue to have that support as we age is really important.
Yeah, I've always thought of the National Guard and Reserves as the extended family of the active duty. And it was so good to learn how that interaction and partnership worked. And I used to tell a lot of the young kids that I used to mentor that wanted to get out off active duty, you know, please go into the reserves of the Guard. Don't throw away, you know, your training and your friendships and all of that. There's so much more that you can continue to get to in terms of service. Yeah.
Yeah, and opportunities within that transfer to your civilian life as well.
Absolutely.
Very good. So what's probably this will be the last question. What's the most interesting place you were stationed or traveled to as part of your experiences with the Guard?
Well, again, with the National Guard, it was all New Jersey Guard until I picked up an AGR program, and that whole AGR time was at the Pentagon. So the travel, I think, would be the East Berlin. You know, when the wall came down, that trip was. I still remember that to the day. We took some businessmen over there, and then we went to Belize and Honduras and a couple. It was really a educational experience for me and for publics, and it was very good for the National Guard in terms of getting some support from influencers to help us in our cause around the country. The other most memorable experience was my training at DOMI. The Defense Equal Opportunity Management Institute down at Patrick Air Force Base. I look at what's going on today, and I said, if we could send police officers or leadership to DOMI, we'd have a better world. The training there in terms of the format of it, getting you in touch with your own biases, and then moving you on to explain how equal opportunity and fairness and all equality and all those things work in a large environment is phenomenal. And DOMI does a great job of that. So those are two of my most impressionable memories. Yeah.
Important ones.
Too.
Well, mine, there's a couple of experiences I had. So as a reservist, of course, we would do active duty every year for at least 2 weeks. Sometimes it was 3, sometimes it was 4. But there was a reforger exercise in its return forces to Europe in the 1987-88 timeframe. And my unit was called on to go, and we went to England to support the Air Force there, just outside of London at an Air Force base. And not only did we work with another country in terms of their military, but we got to see these young soldiers that were coming back. They were the forces, they're returning to Europe. We'd been out in the field and like a combat situation for weeks. And we were there to help them get check them out medically, social, their psyches. It was just a great experience all around, and got to see a lot of London and the surrounding area at the same time. So very positive.
There you go.
So I think that, we both had some wonderful experiences, and it sort of shaped us who we are throughout our lives and what we're doing even today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I tell people all the time, it's my master's degree is in management with a minor in the behavioral sciences. And I've always been interested in people and how we react and deal with situations. And the military certainly gave me a lot of experience in that area. So today in my retirement, I'm actually a life coach and a hypnotherapist. So I'm still doing that people, mentoring, moving through life on purpose stuff. So I just absolutely love it. And you, Shirley, you're very engaged with AARP and.
That's right. I mean, AARP, and being a veteran, who would think, it's like another veteran career here. I've got another career going. Well, with that, I'll just say to remind people who are watching that we have some valuable resources for the veterans, women and men, and to visit aarp.org/veterans. You can see that running across the bottom of the screen, and take a look at what we have to offer. Many resources, and we are there for you if you have questions.
Yes.
So please get in touch.
Great. Well, thank you again for this opportunity. Good to see you.
Thank you. I enjoyed our chat.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.